Thank you so much, Mrs. Reddy, for joining us on the show this morning on ET Now. So the healthcare services business has seen really good growth, but of course this quarter also included the second wave. So I want to understand, what is the present situation now? I mean, the June quarter is now almost 2 months away. So how have things reverted? Are you seeing some sort of normalcy? Has the non-COVID portion of the business reverted to normalcy?
Yes, most certainly. If you look at our first quarter performance, while our revenues grew by 30% to 3,760 crores, 26% of this revenue was COVID revenue at an ARPOB of 21,700 rupees. So just going forward, I believe that this has started to shift. We're seeing signs of the shift in July, where the normal work is coming back and surgical volumes have started to pick up.
Vaccination is offering a big opportunity. Could you, throw some color on the future potential?
So if you can look at vaccination across the group, I mean, in the hospitals division, we did about 116 crores, but totally we did 167 crores of vaccine, but the margin was only around 15%. So I think the purpose of vaccination is to enable our people to get vaccinated rather than to look at the numbers and the margins. So moving into the second quarter, the opportunity will happen only in the end of September because of the recommendation to delay it to 3 months, COVID shield to be given after 3 months. So most of the vaccination revenue will be captured by the end of September. But we are not seeing the traction that we saw in the first quarter happen in the second quarter.
Ms. Reddy, I know you're committed to unlock value in a digital platform also. So how exactly has the digital platform 24/7 moved? And how essentially are you looking at unlocking value there?
So, this is the age of digital. And I think more importantly for Apollo, it was to create an omni-channel presence, which we have done with digital. And definitely digital is really something that we will use as part of our journey of moving closer to the consumer and offering him services which are much easier to access. So part of that is online pharmacy. So for example, if you look at online pharmacy, we did about 16.5 lakh deliveries over this period. So clearly, it is moving up. We have about 10 million active users in Apollo 24/7. There are teleconsults that are happening every day, and we've got 5,500 doctors who are part of this system. We are present, Apollo Hospitals is present in 72 locations, but through 24/7, we are present in 440 cities. So this is the best way we could think of to not only expand our presence, but also to create a funnel for patients into the system. And if you look at the way that it's growing, it's certainly growing at, it is the fastest healthcare fastest growing healthcare app in India today. And I think that that momentum is very important. Yes, it will cost some money. This quarter we spent 37 crores on customer acquisition, marketing. These costs will continue to happen. We have budgeted for about 150 crores of cost for the year. But as we do so, we believe that we are moving in the right direction.
Could you walk us through then the individual businesses, diagnostics growth, the traditional hospital business, and what is happening on the digital front?
So yes, I think the hospital business is doing very well. Like I said, it grew by 31% quarter on quarter. And I'm not even looking at last year because the low base effect really would show you a growth which is 73%. But I think 31% is a healthy growth quarter on quarter. Hospital revenues are sustainable revenues. We are looking at we came in at an EBITDA margin of 21.1 against our last quarter 21.7, and this is because of COVID, where our RPOB was around 22,000 rupees compared to our normal RPOB of 41,000. So, with COVID becoming less, we do believe that, we will be able to improve the EBITDA. But having said that, there is this possibility of the third wave coming. I think our performance has clearly shown that Apollo has the ability, the agility to handle both COVID and non-COVID. Because what we learned this quarter is the ability to separate out the non-COVID cases and handle them with excellent clinical outcomes. So moving into the second quarter, we believe that we will be able to do this. Apollo Health and Lifestyle did really well. They had a revenue of 310 crores. They posted a very good EBITDA of 47 crores. So they're clearly on the right track.
Right. Ms. Reddy, for the combined pharmacy distribution, how is it that you see this particular segment going, and how many pharmacies are you likely to add in the fiscal?
So combined pharmacy, we grew at 28% quarter on quarter with an EBITDA of 148 crores. So I believe that during COVID, we did have, the retail pharmacies did exceptionally well because people were stocking for COVID. But moving forward, with this 20% growth is something that we've come to expect. Margins are at 7.1%, which is a very healthy EBITDA margin. And we continue to add stores. So our plan is to add another 150 stores. We're also present in 16,000 pin codes. So this is something that I must mention because it enables 24/7 to deliver pharmacy prescriptions within 2 hours. And I think that is unique to the entire e-pharmacy space.
Right. With many big corporate houses now entering the pharmacy business, do you see competition increasing for you, and will that really help build the ecosystem?
There are many corporates entering this segment, but I think we are the only healthcare one which is backed by infrastructure. So if you think of, and I know you're referring to online pharmacies and probably what the Tata and Reliance is doing, I believe we have the medical infrastructure. In terms for online pharmacies, we've already crossed 4,200 stores, and 40% of India is only 40 minutes away from a store. We have a very strong distribution system that takes us to 16,000 pin codes. So again, I think the distribution system is exceedingly important for pharmacy online. With regard to teleconsults, we have 5,500 doctors, and within 15 minutes, you can have a teleconsult. And that again is an important value that we bring to the system. The third is the ability to do the testing. And even during this COVID period, we did exceptionally well. We did about 2.5 lakh RT-PCR tests. And this was enabled by 24/7. The consumer had the ability to order the test and have the result done within 24 hours. So I think that in healthcare, one, to have medical infrastructure, second, to have skilled medical professionals, and third, to have speed is exceedingly important.
Okay. Ms. Reddy, how was the performance of new hospitals versus old ones, and do you expect the new hospitals to keep up, doing better in terms of growth versus the old ones?
They should, because that is where we have the largest headroom. So as you know, they were at around 14, they moved 15% in the last quarter of the year. And now their EBITDA margins are at 16.4%. But clearly this is where we have the headroom, and they should move because they can move to about 21% EBITDA margins. and really with centers of excellence opening out and the states opening out, I believe that we will see a lot of growth coming from these new hospitals.
Okay. Proton reported an EBITDA of around 10.5 crore rupees, but your FY22 target for the EBITDA for that business is 50 crores. Do you think you will achieve that run rate to reach that target, or do you think that you would like to revise the target?
Yes, I think if we don't have another wave of COVID that restricts travel, it should definitely surpass, like you said.
All right, and finally, Ms. Reddy, what's the capex plan like for FY22?
We have about 250 crores of capex that is currently allocated. We do have a plan to make an acquisition which will cost us 450 crores, but I think we're fully funded to do this. We have about 880 crores in cash and cash instruments, and our debt equity is at 0.48. So I believe we're fully funded to be able to do this.
All right, Ms. Reddy, thanks so much for joining us this morning and talking to us about the company, what it was in the quarter gone by, and going forward, what are you looking at?